Okay. Another idea in my idea list. Mm, okay, let's just choose this one. Consciousness is not a thing, it's a relationship. Okay, what do I mean by this? Precisely that I think that when we talk about consciousness, it feels sometimes like we're talking about a thing, a field of energy, a structure, a process, even, that you can look at, therefore, and study. Uh, However, I feel like our experience of consciousness is relationship. It's a relationship to the world, to other people, to things. And a relationship, as I've said before, is not something studyable, basically, because it's something that only happens between you and the other person, or you and the world, or you and the object, and therefore it's private. It's your own private little thing. It's not some sort of a floating blue energy field in the brain that you can look at and study collectively, scientifically, because the process of of being conscious seems to be the process of you relating to other things. It it's that, and therefore, yeah, yeah, it's a relationship. It's a relationship. Like, it's not even like, that's the thing. It's not like your blue floating ball of consciousness and that other person's blue floating ball of consciousness are having a relationship. It's not like my consciousness and your consciousness are like meeting. That would require some sort of a theory, some sort of some sort of an experimentation and testing. Like, beyond that, it's simply like, your consciousness. And your consciousness doesn't mean like yours as in yours, like it belongs to you, but simply that it's your experience. And this experience is an experience of something that you're experiencing, right? Be it the object, the world, the person, something like that. So what I mean is that there couldn't even be, I think, a consciousness itself, without relationship. It's not like, oh, I have this sort of ball of consciousness in my head, and now I'm going to I'm sort of laser pointed at things and relate with them and have relationships with them. It's not like it's something that consciousness can do, like an ability that it has. And the reason I think this is because I don't think there is any moment in which you can experience it without being relationship, in the sense of a meeting, a meeting between worlds. So I think that, therefore, it seems most reasonable to me to think that it is a meeting. If we can't think of it without this meeting, we can't experience it, without this meeting of subject and object, then the meeting itself, this meeting itself of subject and object seems to be what we mean by consciousness. It's not like the subject with the subject's consciousness and the object are meeting. That would suggest that there is some way in which the subject can sort of turn off its consciousness and not meet someone, or meet someone without its consciousness, or something like that. Like, there doesn't seem to be that sort of a separation, you know? The subject meets the object, and that's what we mean by consciousness. So that this relationship is inherent to what we mean by this term, by consciousness. And therefore it doesn't sort of, it's not like it belongs to someone, it belongs to the brain, or it belongs to the body, or like, it's, again, because you're always using it in relationship. So what's the separation between the relationship and the process that's happening, you know, that's being happening? I can't find one, really. I don't think you... Okay, I think that experientially it's difficult to find that, because what we're talking about always has this sort of mixing between subject and object. Again, a meeting between them. And it's this meeting, in fact, that only happens, let's say, how do I say this? Within us. And what I mean by that is that this meeting is only happening once, basically. You can't study it again and again and again. The meeting is always happening and then moving on. There is no... The meeting itself is unstudyable, I think, in this scientific way. And so therefore, almost like by definition, it's not an object. And therefore that's why, right? It can't be studied, because it's not an object, because it's a relationship between objects, or between subject and object, you know. A relationship, therefore, that only exists between those objects, between those subjects, between that relationship. That's the only place in which it exists. It doesn't exist outside of it, and therefore you can't look at it from outside. Yeah. You know, and we keep on talking about it again and again as like a thing, something that happens, a thing that happens, and therefore that's something that's like observable. But what is this thing that's happening? You know, like what is this thing that's happening exactly? Yeah. I don't understand it. I don't understand what it is that we mean by that. Why, like, what do we mean by it's this way of, again, I think it's just this way of separating consciousness from what it is that is being conscious of, sort of thing. Like, again, like it's some sort of an ability or a skill. Like, for example, that you could do it in certain situations and not do it in others. But we have yet to find a you that can do it in one situation and not in another, you know. It is this the being of the you that that is this thing that we call consciousness. Mm. I don't know what the separation is. I just don't know what the separation that's being implied here is, and on what is it? Why is it being talked about? I don't understand. Okay, I could probably talk about this forever and ever with huge long pauses and everything. So yeah, goodbye. That's probably enough. Bye.